Good morning. Britain's Ed Balls engaged in a blistering row with Treasury Minister as he pointed out a glaring error in the latest government press release. Good morning. Britain's Ed Balls certainly didn't hold back any punches as he grilled Treasury Minister James Murray about when Britain's payment regulators will be abolished. During Wednesday's visit to the ITV studios, the former politician and his co-host Susanna Reid welcomed the MP onto the show to discuss the latest press release claiming that regulations will be cut back in order to boost economic growth. But moments into the heated debate, the 58-year-old pointed out a glaring error in the government press release which was published on Tuesday, March 11. He asked the politician, "The announcement you have made today is that you are going to abolish the payments regulator. How's that going to help?" He explained, "Well, the abolition of the payment regulator is just one example of where we wanted to make the system simpler for businesses. We want to get rid of unnecessary bureaucracy and make sure businesses can invest in growth because we know the economic growth is the way to put more money in people's pockets." It was at this point that Ed pointed out a glaring error in the government press release in a heated debate with the MP. He explained, "So, I read your press release this morning. The headline is Regulator Acts as Red Tape is Slashed to Boost Growth, but when you actually read it, it says, today's announcement does not result in any immediate changes to the payment systems regulator's remit or ongoing program of work. The regulator will continue to have access to statutory powers and legislation is passed by Parliament to enact these changes. So, it's not being abolished, it's staying. It's going to need primary legislation before it goes, even then it's just being merged into another regulator. You're not proposing any changes in the regulatory remit at all. I'll tell you, this will have absolutely zero impact on economic growth this year and next year. And your press release says it's axed as you slash regulation to boost growth. It's just not true," he argued. Murray explained, "The decision that the press release announces is to get rid of the PSL, the payment systems regulator." Ed then cut off the government minister as he pointed out, "It says it is slashed to boost growth and it says it's not being slashed, in fact it's staying. There's going to be no boost to growth." Defending the press release, Murray went on, "Well, Ed, you'll remember from your time in government that people make decisions, ministers make decisions and then we have to get the legislation into place." The presenter powered on, "I'll tell you what I remember, Minister, which is that you have a press release and you've been put on the TV to talk about it. Make sure you read page 2. Because page 1 says you've abolished the regulator to boost growth and page 2 says you've not abolished the regulator, it's staying and you've got primary legislation. Even then the remit's not changing, it'll have no impact on growth at all, it's just made up." The stuttering MP argued, No, I think it's very clear that we have taken the decision to abolish the regulator. We're then going to set up the details over summer as a result of the consultation about how to implement it and then we're going to bring forward the legislation to merge its functions where appropriate with the financial conduct authorities." Ed then asked, "This year?" To which Murray confessed, "Well, it depends on when the legislation gets through Parliament, so we're making the decision now to get rid of the regulator." Ed went on, "So when it says regulator acts to boost growth, it's not axed and there's no chance of it happening this year and therefore you're not going to boost growth this year, are you?" Murray continued, "Well look, what businesses have been telling us, Ed, is that they want a simpler system, they want us to get rid of the unnecessary bureaucracy when they're engaging with regulators and in this space in particular. The payment system regulator, it is a real problem for businesses because of the complexity. So we are committing today to getting rid of that regulator, to doing it in a way that will be determined through the consultation over summer and the legislation that comes off the back of that, but this is something that makes it simpler for businesses. We want to back businesses to have a simple way to engage with regulators so that they can invest in growth, because by investing to grow, we will put more money in people's pockets." It didn't take long before fans flooded to X, formerly known as Twitter, to praise the broadcaster for the tense interview online. One user penned, #GMB go on Ed, give it to him. As another gushed, Way to go Ed, get stuck in lol hashtag GMB as a third decode. Even Ed Balls has grown appare and is criticizing now. That's how bad it's got hashtag GMB.